Yo, what's up guys, it's Ben10clem here, back with another video. It's the Ben10clem Poll Week 10. I got some controversial decisions up in here, but I'll show you here in a bit. So anyways, number 1, 2, and 3 are staying the same. Oregon played Illinois, won by a lot, 38-9. Georgia did not play today. Penn State also did not play today. Or no, they did. Penn State played against Wisconsin and won at Wisconsin 28-13. So they're staying at 3. They're undefeated. Now, 4 and 5 is where it gets questionable. I have Clemson at 4, Miami at 5. Previously, if I show you guys last week I had Ohio State at 4, Texas at 5. And now, what they are now is Texas is 6 and Ohio State is at 7. Ohio State, pretty almost lost to Nebraska. It was 21-17. That was a home game for Ohio State. Do you guys want to know what the spread was? A 25.5 point favorite was Ohio State. They didn't even get close to that. That's sad. So Ohio State dropping. So they were last week, and I forget to put that on the Biggest Loser, so I do apologize. But Ohio State was 4, so they dropped 3 spots down to 7, and Texas drops 1. And the reason why, even after winning against Vanderbilt, they played at Vanderbilt, and it was a close game, 27-24. I'm telling you, things are changing up. Texas might not be the team we thought, they're going to win the Natty. I don't think we can look at that team and say this team will almost guaranteed win the Natty. I can't see that. I don't see that anymore. Ohio State, starting to lose a little hope on them too. It's hard to see that happening. And then next up, we have Notre Dame. Notre Dame played today and against Navy, 51-14. And so that Navy, Fighting Irish took care of business. The spread was 14.5 in favor of Notre Dame. They exceeded that by a long shot, which is why they move up 2 points, or 2 positions. So they were 10, they're now 8. Tennessee staying at 9. They didn't play. Number 10, we got a new number 10. Number 10 is Texas A&M, ladies and gents. Texas A&M played, they ended up playing LSU. So it was LSU at Texas A&M, and it was 38-23. And if I gotta show you guys, I had LSU at 8. I thought they were a top 10 team. I thought they could compete. I thought they could go into the the 12-team playoff, which they still could. Depends on how Texas A&M plays, though. But I had Texas A&M last week at 14, so they moved up 4 spots. Yeah. Anyways, the Hoosiers are up next. They move up a spot to number 11. Indiana Hoosiers playing great. They're just looking good in general. It was Washington at Indiana. It was 31-17. They beat their spread as well because they were only 5.5 points favorites. So they're going up 1. Iowa State did not play. They're going up 1 though. They're going to 12. Then we have number 13, moved up 3 spots, is BYU. BYU looking great right now. They have been looking great. The only reason I moved them up 3 spots, I've still not been high on them. I'm starting to become more high on them and more trusting of them, is they went to UCF as a 2.2 underdog, 2.2 favorited for UCF, and they went in there and won 37-24. They played, they beat them, outplayed them. beat the spread. So you got to give credit to that. They did it by a lot too. So there you go. Now, I dropped Kansas State. I know I was really high in Kansas State. I always have been. And I still think they can do very good. But today's game they had tonight, they played Kansas. I mean, I get it's a rivalry, which makes it even harder. It was 27-29. They barely came back. They came back and won in the end. With like barely any time left. So Kansas, like, I think this was, when was this? Kansas was favored to win with 1 minute 55 seconds left. Like, that's insane. And then after they got stopped on third down, it just, or it was pretty sure it was a pick. Yeah. Or it was an incomplete pass on fourth down. But yeah, Kansas State ended up going out with a win, scraping. So I dropped them 3 spots because, I mean, they're fellow Big 12 opponents, aka BYU and Iowa State, are both undefeated. BYU beat Kansas State earlier in their season, so Alabama, I'm not moving up. Alabama staying the same, even though it was Missouri at Alabama. That's 34-0. Very impressive win. And spread was 16.5 favorites. They exceeded that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like 15 is a good spot. I don't want to move them up, and they definitely don't deserve to move down. So that's where they're staying for me, even after a really good win. Number 16 is LSU. They have dropped 10 spots after their loss to Texas A&M. That's pretty damn harsh, but they're now if we go back, I'm pretty sure they're a 2-loss team now. Pretty sure they are a 2-loss team. Yeah, 6-2. Third in the SEC. They're a 2-loss team officially. So they're at 16. Boise State moved up 1 spot to 17. They played a very close game against UNLV, which I was thinking to put in the top 25 at one point, but they're now 6-2. UNLV, it was 29-24. It was at UNLV. Boise State Broncos ended up winning. They were favored by 3.5 points. So pretty much around the spread, barely exceeded it. They struggled that game. They did, I'll be honest. And I just moved them up 1 spot because I get it. They were both pretty evenly matched. So that's where I'm going to put it. Pitt. Exceptional game on Thursday against Syracuse, which I was going to have in the top 25, keep in mind. Yeah, not anymore. Pitt, this was Syracuse at Pittsburgh. 41-13. Blowing them out of the water. Guess what point favorite they were? A 4.5 favorite was Pitt. A very small favorite. Absolutely blew out of the water. If I look at the team stats, I'm telling you now, 5 interceptions. Kyle McCord threw 5 interceptions. Absolutely horrid. Like, what are you supposed to do? Zero turnovers on Pitt's side. 5 interceptions. Not even a single touchdown pass. Like, that is terrible. Absolutely terrible Syracuse football. So, I mean, Pitt looked great. They're moving up 3 spots. They were 21. Yeah. Ole Miss dropping 2 spots. I'm not high on Ole Miss anymore. even after their win at home against Oklahoma, 26-14. I just don't see Oklahoma. Oklahoma we thought was decent. They're not. It was 14-26. The game was just ass. I'll be honest. Ole Miss was going in at a 19.5 favorite. I don't. Did they reach that? Let me double check. Let me do the math. They did not exceed their their spread. They went under it. I'm dropping them 2 spots. I don't think they're as good anymore. They're falling off. They're falling down a cliff. If they don't step it up in their next end of the season, they're out of the playoff picture for good. To be honest, I think they are out of the playoffs anyways right now. I think they'll stay out. 20, we dropped Army 1 spot. Army's still undefeated compared to Navy. We'll have to see how they do against Notre Dame. They do play Notre Dame in the upcoming schedule. If I look here, I want to check when they play. Because if I go to Notre Dame plays Army at Notre Dame. Keep in mind, so it's even harder. 11/23. So yeah, it's a while from now. They got time to prepare. We'll see if Army can come up clutch. But for now, I'm dropping them 1 spot, putting them at 20. SMU's game against Duke was one of my highlights I had for this weekend to keep an eye on. Because I had Duke last week, if I show you here. Duke was 25. SMU was 22. I'm moving SMU only up 1 spot. SMU just did not impress me this weekend. It went into overtime. I knew it would be a close game, but SMU just looked ugly. They had 6 turnovers. 6 turnovers. And Duke, I think, tried to go into OT, and if I remember watching the end of it, they missed the 2-point conversion. They wanted to just go for the win and finish it off. They didn't get it. They didn't want to go into a second overtime. To be honest, I think Duke would have won if they didn't go into if they chose to go to a second overtime. So I just 3 interceptions by SMU's QB. There was also tons of fumbles. There was 3 fumbles, 3 interceptions. Like, that's insane. That's insanely bad. They're moving up 1 spot just because I had Duke ranked 25th, I think. Yeah, 25th last week. They're dropped down now. Can't put them in the top 25. Next up, we have Memphis. I know people are going to be like, what the fuck? Why Memphis? Why? Memphis is not doing bad. They're in the American Conference. They're 7-1. They're playing good. They played Charlotte, I think, today. Was this today? When was this? I can't remember if they played today. October 26th. Yeah, they played yesterday. Or yeah, today. They ended up winning 33-28 against Charlotte at home. Memphis isn't looking bad. Their only loss is coming to Navy, which is understandable. It's a 56-44 loss. So yeah, Memphis is 22. 23, I have Colorado. Colorado's game tonight. They showed up and did good against Cincinnati. It was Cincinnati at Colorado. They were both 5-2. But Colorado goes to 6-2, 4-1 in their conference. They're looking good. 23 to 34. The spread was a 6.5 favorite for Colorado, and they met that. They did very good and won. Now we got the Raging Cajuns. Raging Canes. Kind of. That's what I like to say. They are ranked. They have not been ranked. I have them ranked. Their division they are in. Let's see what. Forget which one they're in. I think they're in the Sun Belt. They're currently 6-1 in the West Sun Belt. They have only lost to Tulane. Every other one they've won with relative ease. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, but they're definitely playing really well, so I put them up there. Now you guys are going to be like, why do you guys not have Washington State, for example, or Texas Tech, or other teams that are like a 2-loss team? Like, why don't you have Tulane there? Like, there's teams I could have put in there. Why don't you have Iowa up there? Liberty, etc. I put Vandy there. Even being a 5-3 team, Vandy, I think, deserves to stay in the top 25, at a top 25 spot. Last week, at week 9, I did not have them in the top 25. But, I mean, they've consistently been playing great against very hard opponents. They were ranked top 25 last week. They barely lost to Texas at home. Remember, they beat Alabama. They barely lost to Missouri. They beat Kentucky. They beat Ball State. Their only bad loss was to Georgia State, not Georgia State. But it was a close game. I do think Vanderbilt is on the up. Even after that loss, they should not look down at themselves. They go into Auburn. At Auburn, they should win. They go to South Carolina. That should be a good game, but I think they'll come out and win that game too. LSU is going to be a tough one for them. And Tennessee at home is also going to be a tough one for them. That's the rest of their schedule, and I think they do have struggles. But they could do very well. I think they're a solid team, and they deserve to be still at the 25 spot. Now, we're going to say who dropped out of the top 25. Missouri, Duke, Illinois, and Navy. Those are all the teams that have dropped out. Then we have the biggest losers. Dropped 10 spots was LSU. Dropped 3 spots was Kansas State. And if I go and look here real quick, Ohio State dropped 3 spots as well. Ole Miss dropped 2. Army dropped 1. And Texas dropped 1. And that's what I feel like the top 25 should be like, in my opinion. Let me know what y'all think. I have a feeling y'all will be like, what the fuck is this guy smoking? But I mean, after the plays from Texas and Ohio State, they both looked not good, bad. I'll be honest. I moved Clemson and Miami above them both. Clemson and Miami, both there. Not moving them. Unless something crazy happens. And we'll get to see, is Clemson all that? As a Clemson fan, I'm going to the Louisville game. They need to at least win by a couple touchdowns, I think. At least 2 touchdowns. I'm not sure what they have the spread being yet. I have to check the Louisville game. They have not come out with the spread yet, but the matchup predictor has Clemson winning. It's like a 70 or 67% to the 33% for the matchup predictor. Cade's a better QB. Rushing's about even. I mean, this team-wise, it's a pretty even matchup. I think it should be a good matchup. If I go to the FPI ratings, which is scores, then go to where the football power index here. If we go to the FPI, we have Louisville is ranked at 18, while Clemson is ranked 13. So I really do think it's going to be a good game. We look here, Clemson has the 7th best in efficiencies. They're the 5th best offense, and the 16th best defense. So, like, that's crazy. And we'll end up playing Louisville, which is in efficiency 27, I think. They have Louisville has the 38th best offense and 38th best defense. And 11th best special teams. Clemson should win. Now, I really do think the ACC championship will be Miami versus Clemson. The only hardest opponent Clemson probably has to play is Pitt, because Pitt's looking great, playing great. I mean, they look good. Pitt is a powerhouse team. Pitt is right below. It wasn't 38. That was Pitt. I was talking about 38. Louisville is 19th in offense, 56th in defense. We should be able to cover them pretty well. I'm guessing we'll be a 14.5 favorite, or it would be around a 9.5 favorite would be the guess. It's the spread, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting. FPI, we're ranked 13. I think there's tons of good things we can come out of this. I think everything's going to look great. And I'm curious what the AP poll will be tomorrow. But yeah, that's my top 25 for week 10. The Ben10clem poll, week 10, top 25. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think down below. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the episode of me comparing the two. Anyways, see you guys next time. Peace.